Brown County Public Health launching a new initiative to make more homeowners aware of the hidden dangers of radon. The program offers a free test kit to eligible homeowners. It's also offering a $1,000 toward mitigation services for 50 randomly selected Brown County homeowners who test their homes and find elevated levels of the harmful gas. Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the country. Officials say it's not just old homes that can be affected.
So radon, it occurs from a breakdown of materials that seep up through the foundation. So old home, new home, it doesn't necessarily matter because a new home could have a crack in the foundation just like an old home may.
Those radon kits can be picked up year-round at the Brown County Public Health Building. The initiative will go through January, and that is first come, first serve for that mitigation money.